Hey, what's up guys? Mizzy here back again with another video, and today I am bringing you another Rampart guide, this time going over some hidden tips and tricks that you may not know about when it comes to Rampart. But before we get into it, please leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below your own tips and tricks that you've discovered, and maybe I will learn something new and others will too. So I'm excited to see what you guys comment. Now, I want to preface this before we actually get straight into it, that I am not going to include every little niche tip and trick that I can think of. I've actually mentioned quite a few in my other guides, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. So I may repeat some of those in this video, but I'm going to leave out some so that you guys can learn some from the other guides. And I promise you won't regret it, so check those out. Those will be linked in the description down below as well. All right, on to our first tip. Now, when it comes to Rampart's walls, she can have 5 out at a time. So right here, you can count them up. We have 5. Now, obviously, I think a lot of people forget about this because rarely will you ever have 5 walls out at a time. But when you do, when you place another one, the oldest one will disappear. Now, I have had this happen more times than I can count, surprisingly, is whenever you are hunkered down, especially in ranked, and you have a lot of walls out, if you mentally remember where the oldest wall is, sometimes you can collapse that one of the enemies may be hiding behind or crouching behind and using as cover and it's already blown out. You can actually just place a wall, retract that, and now they are vulnerable. So just kind of keep in mind and get in the habit of knowing which wall you placed that is oldest, because maybe you'll need to retract that at some time. It's very niche, but I have found it useful and I wanted to include it here. All right, on to my second tip. Now, I don't think a lot of Ramparts know this. I've never seen any other Ramparts do this, to be completely honest, in-game personally. But this right here is basically non-existent. You can shoot through it, and it's basically not even there. And you can also mantle it from the side too. So if you guys have seen my movement guide, I've taught you how to super glide and super slide, but you can also do this across. So you've learned this, but then you can literally do this. And sometimes the super slide especially keeps you a little bit lifted off the ground. And sometimes that's the difference between life or death, because they're not expecting you to be suspended on a super glide that much. So then once you get your movement guide, I'm not gonna go over it. I'm not even gonna show it so that you guys actually go learn it in my guide. You can do that across, which I think not enough Ramparts utilize it. So who knows, that may come in useful as well. All right, on to my third tip. Now, if you are really low on health, obviously you're going to be utilizing Rampart's walls and healing behind them. And if you're healing like this, you just pop a battery while you're sitting here like this. Believe it or not, an opponent on the same level as you or even slightly higher can still kind of get some shots on your head if this top part is blown out. So in order to make it so that they can't, look directly down as you're popping your shields or your heals or whatever, and they will not be able to shoot you. This is a really useful tip because you are going to have those desperate times where you're not able to kind of sit here and peek and see what they're doing, and you just need to pop a heal as quickly as possible. Keep this in mind. All right, this fourth tip has to do with Sheila, and this is mounted Sheila, not carry around Sheila. And this mostly applies to your teammates because you're going to be kind of carrying around Rampart instead of utilizing one that's planted on the ground. But when you are stationary, you're a target, and people are going to shoot you because you're an easy target to hit. However, you can move Sheila up and down like this while you're reloading. So the reload animation, let me show you guys. The reload animation is obviously very long, and while you're doing that and you're getting hit, or you may be getting hit, you can block some bullets by doing this. It kind of blocks your head especially, so don't be afraid to do this, especially if you're waiting for a reload, and make sure you relay this to your squad that you rank with, because this will be very useful to them if they're using Sheila while it's mounted. This next one, I'm shocked that people still have not caught on with this, and I'm sure this is a lot of people that are just playing Rampart every so often or have just hopped on as a Rampart main. Now, with Sheila, when you expend bullets, you can put her on cooldown, which I found a lot of you guys are commenting and saying, how do you even put her on cooldown? I thought I have to use all of the ammo. Now look, I've used about 50% of the ammo. Now when I put it on cooldown, which is left on the D-pad, I get 55% of the ultimate back. So it's basically straight across. So whatever percentage of ammo you've used, that's basically the percentage that will be missing when you put her away. Now, obviously that doesn't apply to barely using any bullets. It usually just goes up to like 75%-ish. Whenever you've just used a tiny bit and then put it on cooldown. But just know that it's roughly below 75%. It will be straight across the board. And that's how you kind of tell when you'll have your ultimate next whenever you put it away on cooldown. And you would know from my previous guides, always put Sheila on cooldown in between fights. Now on to my final tip. Now this has to do with Octane's jump pad and Horizon's tactical. Believe it or not, you maintain quite a bit of accuracy with Sheila while using both of these things, especially Octane's jump pad. You have crazy good accuracy, and it's really beneficial to whip out Sheila and have that amount of movement at the same time while remaining accurate. Now, it does not apply to Pathfinder zipline or ziplines in general. Unfortunately, it's really hard when you're using those. Alright guys, I hope these hidden tips and tricks taught you something new or maybe put something on your radar that you may have forgotten about. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment down below your hidden tips and tricks. I'd love to hear them. And remember, I did not mention all of my little hidden tips and tricks. I left a lot of them to be discovered in my guides. So if you haven't watched those, check them out in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and take it easy.